What's going on, everybody? C4 here today, continuing with the post-draft grades. Today we're going to be taking a look at the AFC West, which had one of my favorite draft classes of this entire process. And I still didn't get I'm going to say, there's no one here that got in an A. I just think I'm a really tough marker. I'm kind of going as like, oh, there's still a couple divisions left, but I've only given out one A. So I'm going to say, judging off, if you get a B or above, you had a good draft in my books. I'm not throwing out A's willy-nilly. So many websites and stuff are giving, much like the rosters that you're going to find of current rookies. People are just giving everyone, you know, just unrealistic praise. They're not being realists, so I'm trying to do that. So we're going to start today in the AFC West with the Kansas City Chiefs, who in the first round traded a future first rounder to the Buffalo Bills to get Patrick Mahomes, the quarterback from Texas Tech. I'm giving that a D+. Now, Patrick Mahomes as a prospect, I like him. I was very excited to watch at Texas Tech. He's the kind of guy, boomer bust prospect, if you will. But he's going to be exciting to watch, and eventually will get that job to start. But he has to sit behind Alex Smith. How long? You're going to assume 1 year. Could be 2 years potentially. I don't know how many years are left exactly on Alex Smith's contract. But the trade up for a guy that some people had as, you know, third round, second round, maybe there's a good run on quarterbacks. To trade up and give a future first rounder to select him at 10, not a good pick at all. I would have gave this a D if I wasn't actually, you know, pulling for and a fan, and I really do enjoy watching Patrick Mahomes at Texas Tech. Then again, pretty much if you're mildly successful in Texas Tech, I'd say you're pretty godly numbers, and you're gonna be fairly exciting to watch. But I do think Mahomes is a solid prospect, but much too much of a project player to trade pretty much two first round picks to get him. D+. Second round pick 59, they got TANOH, defensive end from Villanova. Another D+. Another guy projected to go probably in the fourth round. Unbelievable athlete, but an absolute project type player. This here is an Andy Reid pick. You know, when they were doing this, I looked at the board. I was like, they're gonna pick something stupid here, just to top on to the Patrick Mahomes. They got this guy. Certainly has a very high ceiling, but he is as rough as a prospect as you can get. I remember before the Senior Bowl, people were really hyping him up. Said, this guy here, man, look, he's a sleeper. He's a diamond. Didn't really perform that well at the Senior Bowl. Kind of looked like, wow. Like the jump in level of competition from where he was playing with Villanova and other teams like that, and then just playing like the top guys that were invited to the Senior Bowl, you could see that he was going to be a work in progress. And then didn't really test particularly freaky at the combine. Didn't have a bad combine by any means, but I mean, surely he was overshadowed by like MELIFONWU. People thought he was going to be the MELIFONWU of the defensive line. It wasn't quite that. So to get that in the second round, that's a D+. Third round pick 80, they got KAREEM Hunt, the running back from Toledo. I like that pick, to be completely honest. I don't want to shit all over Kansas City. The KAREEM Hunt pick was very solid. We're giving that a C+ with upside. He's going to be a guy that very well could end up being the starting running back there. I assume Spencer Ware is going to be the guy. You know, since essentially the play from Spencer Ware gave old Jamal Charles his packing slip. But I think Hunt could come in and add some competition to the running back spot. So that's a C+. Fourth round, 139. They get JEHU, CHESSON, the wide receiver from Michigan. You know, the worst of the two, I think. I think, personally, I like Darboh. A little better than CHESSON. Not a bad pick. Just a C with some upside. Fifth round, 183. They got UKEME, ELIGWE, outside linebacker from Georgia Southern. That's a C-. That's an Andy Reid. Jesus, who the hell is this guy pick? And in the sixth round at 218, they got MCQUAY, the safety from USC. Just, you know, probably going to be a special teamer in, you know, at best depth guy. That's a C for an overall grade of C-, which up till now, that is along with the Bears for my worst draft class this year. I think they're probably the two worst ones, in my opinion, the Chiefs and the Bears. But we still got some more teams we have to do, but a C- for the Chiefs. Jumping to the Denver Broncos at pick 20 in the first round, they got GARETT, the tackle, who I always thought was a right tackle. It seems like Bears fans are thinking that he's going to be a left tackle. I don't know if they've officially announced that or not, but I like that pick. I think, you know, he's up there with age a little bit, but tested very well at the combine, kind of like a mini Lane Johnson. They need to get better on the offensive line, so I'm giving this a B right now. Wasn't my top graded tackle. I think Ryan Ramczyk, for me, is still my top tackle. But Bolles certainly is right in the mix, very, very close, so I'm giving that a B. Maybe I could have given a B+, but just because, you know, I think he's a right tackle, and now they're playing at left tackle. I mean, we have Lane Johnson, who I think that's kind of a close similarity to GARETT Bolles. And you get to build to the left tackle. I think they throw him right away to left tackle. That might not be in their best interest, but clearly, then, you know, they obviously have a need. And when we're in Philly, we obviously have Jason Peters, the bodyguard, playing left tackle, so we don't have to rush Lane Johnson in. But not a bad pick for the Denver Broncos there. Second round pick 51, they get DeMarcus Walker, the defensive end from Florida State. Like the prospect, I thought that was kind of reach though to get him in the third round, so I'm only giving that a C+, or the second round, sorry. I thought he would more so go in the third round. I'm giving that a C+ with upside. Really good pick right here for them. If they got him in the third round, this would easily be a B+ grade, but because they got him in the second round, I feel, personally, I don't know, maybe there's a different evaluation clearly in Denver, and who the hell am I? But I'm giving it a C+, but I'm not really shitting that pick. I do think that DeMarcus Walker kind of in the same mold of Derek Barnett, who we got in Philadelphia. I think you're getting pretty much close to a finished product, but he's certainly a guy that can come in and chip on that defensive front that needed to add more depth and chip in some sacks here and there. Third round pick, 82, they got Carlos Henderson, the wide receiver, who put up really crazy numbers last year at LA Tech. I'm giving that a B-. I think that's, a pretty fair grade for Carlos Henderson. He's gonna, he makes guys miss in open space. That's where he's absolutely deadly. They needed to go wide receiver. I thought that was a low-key position in need because after Demaryius Thomas and Manuel Sanders, who also are getting up there in age, they don't really have a whole lot there to be, Cody Latimer doesn't seem like that's gonna work out too much. So I think Carlos Henderson could certainly carve out a role as a rookie for Denver. The second, third round pick, 101, they got Brandon Langley, the corner from Lamar. I'm pretty sure he spent some time at Georgia, got kicked off, and then had to go to Lamar. I think that's another solid pick. I give that a C+ with upside. Pick 145 in the fifth round, they got Jake Butt, the tight end from Michigan. That's a B+ with upside. I was very surprised he slipped there. I know he had the injury, but before that injury, he was pretty much consensus the second tight end after O.J. Howard. And to get that in the fifth round, if he can bounce back fully healthy, that is going to be a steal for a team that certainly needed to address the tight end spot. So that is a B+. If he comes back healthy, this, like I said, upside. This could be an A+. Getting a guy that could eventually be, a franchise tight end for the Denver Broncos in the fifth round. Very, very surprising there. So that's a B+ with upside. Their other fifth round pick at 172, they get Isaiah McKenzie, the wide receiver from Georgia. I thought there was better value at the wide receiver spot than him. He's not a bad player, so I just gave it a C. Again, kind of like Carlos Henderson, he can get involved on special teams. He's a slot guy, really small. But yeah, I just personally think, they could have got a better wide receiver in the fifth round. There's some better names, for my opinion, unless they just really saw it like, man, we need to get a return man here. Sixth round, 203, they got D'Angelo Henderson, the running back from Coastal Carolina. That's a C+. A lot of scouts comparing him to a mini MJD. Kind of see that. He is really, really stocky, jacked running back. Certainly could see him getting on the back end of that depth chart. They traded Bibbs, I think, during the draft, so that may be his spot. And then the seventh round, Mr. Irrelevant, 253, they got Chad Kelly, the quarterback from Ole Miss. Want to give it a higher grade because I am higher on Chad Kelly than some, but clearly the off-the-field issues makes him a little risky. So I'm giving this a C+ with upside. A lot of these picks with Denver have plenty of upside. I think they had a very, very good draft here. But Chad Kelly, you get the media circus. Now he's going to be, the most famous Mr. Irrelevant of all time and all this and that. But overall for the Denver Broncos, I'm giving them a B grade, very solid draft for John Elway and company. B with upside. That's the key. I pretty much put upside on every single pick. It certainly can raise above a B when all said and done. Moving on to the Oakland Raiders, who at pick 25 in the first round selected GAREON Conley, the corner from Ohio State. I'm giving this a B+ with upside, and the upside is more so if he gets cleared and can play right away. This could be, certainly an A pick because he should have went in the top 15 picks for sure. Pretty much a lot of people consider him the second best corner because of his health after Marshawn Lattimore. Thought, for sure if he didn't have all the rape allegations and stuff like that, he went to Philly at 14. But for the Raiders, I mean, like I said, if he gets cleared, it's going to be good. If he doesn't get cleared, it's going to be kind of hard to really rate that pick too much because he's not going to be on the field. I think all things will go well in his favor, but because there is still some uncertainty, I can't give this much more than a B+ with upside right now. Second round pick 56, they got Obi Melifon with the safety from UConn. B, give it a B. Obviously, he tested incredibly well as the Combine Warrior. I like that they didn't reach for him. I think 56 is about appropriate where you can get a guy with his traits and his upside and his ceiling, but he still definitely needs to work on a bunch of things. Technique, most importantly. I mean, he wasn't a liability or anything at UConn, but I do think that clearly relied on his athletic ability and the technique and things. He's not going to be rushed in. He's going to play behind Reggie Nelson, I assume, and he'll be his replacement, I would guess, next season. I think that's a great fit for Melifon. So that is a B. Third round pick 88, they get Eddie Vanderdoes, the defensive tackle from UCLA. I'm giving that a C+ with upside. Personally, I think that was a one round higher than I would have selected Vanderdoes, but I am high on the prospect. His 2014 tape at UCLA was very, very dominant. And at position of need, he could, I think a guy like Eddie Vanderdoes, depending on what kind of shape he comes into training camp, could be the starting nose tackle for the Oakland Raiders this year. They just cut Dan Williams, and I don't think off the top of my head who's their nose tackles right now. Justin Ellis, Ooh, okay. Well, Eddie VANDERDOES certainly could end up winning that competition. So that is a C+ with upside if he does do that. 4th round, 129, they got David Sharpe, the tackle / guard, whatever you want to consider him. I think he's going to be a left tackle from Florida. A lot of people in my Gator fan base thinks he left 1 year too early. If he would have stayed, refine his skills, get his weight under control, could have been probably, at least a round higher, at least. So I'm going to let it C, though. Definitely some upside, and nowhere near a finished product. 5th round, 168, they got Marquel Lee, the linebacker from Wake Forest. Not bad. Solid depth guy. Should be able to contribute on special teams. That's a C. And then they had 4 7th-round picks at 221. They got SHALAM LUANI. Never heard of him. Pleading the 5th. That's a C. 231, they got JEHU, the offensive tackle from Alabama State. Giving that a C. 7th round, 242, Elijah Hood, the running back from North Carolina. There is some upside there, so he's a C with some upside. Nice little 1-2 punch they had there at North Carolina with him and TJ Logan. And then at 244, they got TREYVON HESTER, defensive tackle from Toledo. Some MAC action. Just giving that a C-. Never heard of this guy. Looked like he was going undrafted. They get him with 244, but there's still some wide receivers on the board. Come on. Give Derek Carr another weapon. So overall for the Raiders, I'm giving them a C+ with upside. A lot really does rely on Gary Conley's availability because, like I said, it's a B+, but if he can play and start day one, which is what I'm leaning towards, but we don't know for sure. I mean, that could be, maybe even an A+ of a pick, getting Conley at 24. And finishing up here with the LA Chargers. Very good draft. First round, pick 7, they got Mike Williams, the wide receiver from Clemson, and here's where people are probably going to dislike it if you're a Charger fan. I'm only giving this a C+, because I don't think, you look at everything they have there, I don't think you can say wide receiver is a position of need. Definitely a position of need to invest. Number 7, you have, literally the only way this pick makes sense is if they come out and say that, Keenan Allen is not going to play until, week 8 or something like that. Because if they come back healthy, which everything seems like it, then again, mentioning healthy and the Chargers in the same sentence doesn't really come around a lot. You got Keenan Allen as wide receiver 1. You got Tyrell Williams, who's definitely emerging as a legit wide receiver 2. Then you got Travis Benjamin, who spent good money on free agency, can get good deep threat down the field, can spread the field open for the offense. So then now you add in Mike Williams. Clearly they have a defined role for him, else they wouldn't invest in this pick. But I think that's if they stay healthy, those guys stay healthy, that is really, really good wide receiver core. I think, banking right now, this may affect Tyrell Williams' development. If I'm the Eagles, I'm calling the Chargers right now and saying, what do you want for Tyrell Williams? All right? Any team that's wide receiver hungry. Because I think Mike Williams is going to come in and hinder that ability. Because, there is obviously Tyrell Williams is probably a little bit better than Travis Benjamin. But, you get the excess things that come with Travis Benjamin. The field separation, you can put him in. People are worried about getting beat deep and stuff like that. So Mike Williams, for me, like I said, good prospect, debatably the top wide receiver in this year's draft class, but it's more so the Chargers really at 7. This is the biggest need. We made all to you if you think that Mike Williams was the one guy that could help Philip Rivers and this team make the next step. But in my opinion, that is not. That's why I only give it a C+. Second round, pick 38, they got Forrest Lamp, the guard from Western Kentucky. Giving that an A. Throwing in A's. I don't throw around A's too lightly. But this was a tremendous pick. I thought Lamp was for sure going to go in the first round. He was my top interior offensive lineman for a team of the Chargers that really needed to get better on the offensive line to protect Philip Rivers. Tremendous value here. That's an A. And then in the third round pick, 71, they got Dan Feeney, the guard from Indiana. A. He was another guy that was, for really down the stretch, kind of got slept on. But early in the process, he was a first-round prospect. Top interior offensive lineman. For me, I think he was my number 2 or number 3 when I did my rankings. And to get that at pick 71, A. Excellent production here. This is going to be good for Melvin Gordon fantasy owners. He's going to have some excellent run blocking next season. I really like that. I really love those 2 picks. Fourth round, 113, they got Rayshawn Jenkins, the safety from Miami. That's a C. Fifth round, 151, they got Des King, the corner, who I think should be a safety from Iowa. That's a B+. I mean, a year ago, he was voted the top corner in the nation. Kind of got exposed a little bit. I think he was afraid to run a 40 because he knew he wasn't going to run fast. So, I mean, slip a little bit. But he was the guy that was a first-round grade. I think with all that was probably still supposed to go in the third round. To get that at 151 in the 5th, that is excellent value for the Chargers. So that is a B+ pick. Sixth round, 190, they got Sam Teavee, offensive tackle from Utah. That's a C. And the 7th round, 225, they got Isaac Rochelle, the defensive end from Notre Dame, which is another C. For an overall grade of a B+ for the Chargers. So, in my opinion, the Chargers had the strongest draft out of all those teams in the AFC West. But I do think the Broncos and even the Raiders had good ones. Everyone besides the Chiefs had a pretty good draft class. Let me know in the comment section below if you agree or disagree with any of these ratings. As always, if it's your first time stopping by, don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button, baby. And until next time, we see Forrest saying peace out.